All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all honor and glory and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, to all the Akim out there teaching and preaching this truth with 144% sincerity, to the men, women, and children listening and learning, and to the Bayashat the house of David. I'm Ayah Shatad, with men of valor, Las Vegas camp, coming to you through the will and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, as well as you speckled birds whose father's line goes back, you are the true children of Israel that the Bible speaks of. Salvation belongeth unto you and you alone. All right. I have a lesson for you today. Don't have a title, but Lord willing, it be uplifting and edifying unto the body. Okay, we're going to start here in the book of John, St. John, chapter 8, and verse 45, and it reads, "And because I tell you the truth, ye believe me not." All right, and this is in the red letter. All right, so this is Yahweh Shai speaking. And he says, "Because I tell you the truth, you believe me not." You see, people of this world who cling unto the world have extremely hard time believing, ultimately because Yahweh Shem Shai has blocked them, but they have a hard time believing even the things that they can see that is right in front of their face. It doesn't matter how much evidence is there, all right? They cannot see that which they are not permitted to see. So you have to understand this is a spiritual sifting, all right, that has gone on. That Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has chosen individuals of his nation, all right, first and foremost, to be of the elect of the nation of Israel, as Yahweh has chose Yahweh Shai to be the leader in his only begotten Son. He chose the spirit that he made himself to be second in command of all the heavens. All right? Understand that Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai's will, all right, is that of Yahweh Shai's will is that of the fathers. He cannot do anything outside of what he was designed to do. And all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? This is the order that is set up. There's nothing that you can do as an individual to make yourself of the elect. There is nothing that you can't do to make yourself not of the elect. Okay? So Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai has done all of this. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai has changed his Salakia, let me say that in a different way. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai has guaranteed his nation, all right? He has guaranteed his nation from each individual bloodline, okay? People say, well, Jacob and Esau had the same mother and father. Correct, all right? But Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai severed ties to Esau, all right? He has always chosen and made the decision that he wanted to. But most people don't want to hear this. Why? Once again, let me read it. It's the book of John, chapter 8, verse 45. And it reads, "And because I tell you the truth, ye believe me not." All right? Because you do not have the ability to understand, all right, what Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is doing. So there's nothing that we could do, all right, or anyone could do. This is going to be here in the book of Jeremiah chapter 34 and verse, I'm going to start at verse 12, and it reads, "Therefore the word of Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, came to Jeremiah from Yahweh, saying, Salakia, thus saith Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, the power of Israel, I made a covenant with your fathers in the day that I brought them forth out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondmen, saying," all right, So Yahweh Bashem Yahushai made the covenant with our forefathers, all right, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So it's nothing that can sever this connection, right? Matter of fact, let me go here. Salakia. It's going to be the book of John, chapter 15 and verse 16. Matter of fact, let me start at 15 and 15. And it reads, Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth. All right, and this is in the red letter, so this is Yahushua speaking. All right, but I have called you friends, for all things that I have heard of my Father, I have made known unto you. All right, so here it is, Yahweh, all right, gave his only begotten son, Yahushua, for the nation of Israel. He said, you are no longer servants, but you are friends. Okay, let me continue on. Verse 16, and it reads, Ye have not chosen me, but I chose you, and ordained you that ye should go and bring fruit, and it's like it, bring fruit, and that that your fruit should remain. All right, so here it is. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai gave us this very thing, this word. Yahweh gave us the word made flesh, as we will get that in this lesson. All right, that Yahweh gave us the word. All right, which that word is Yahweh Shai. All right, that we may be able to receive the truth, the wisdom and the knowledge and the understanding. All right, everything that governs life, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has given unto his people and unto his nation, and not to another. Continuing on, that Slakia, that whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it you. All right, so Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Yahweh had already predestinated Yahweh Shai. All right, Yahweh Shai had already created everything under the order of Yahweh. So Yahweh gave us Yahweh Shai to bring us back to being the sons of Yahweh, all right? To being the sons of God, all right? The true and living power Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right? So we have to understand the the magnitude of the blessing it is that we hold. It is not something that can be taken lightly. Let me rephrase that. It's not something that should be taken lightly. All right, because it is taken lightly because you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, as well as you speckled birds, don't know who you are and whose you are. And there lies the problem. Now Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has given this word, all right, to make it go abroad to his servants, the prophets. But you care not to hear us because we tell you the truth, even though there is a innumerable amount of evidence stating the fact. All right, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has blinded you, ultimately because you did not submit to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. He has not predestinated you to submit unto him. All right, and this is all for the election. All right, that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai's word is found faithful and true. All right. It's going to be here. Salakia. It's going to be here in the book of Hebrews. And I'm Salakia is right over here. It's going to be 12 and 6, and it reads, For who Yahweh Bashem Yahushai loveth, he chasteneth, and, and scourgeth every son who he receiveth. All right? So, hey, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai will chasten you. This is why we are in the case that we're in. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, as well as you speckled birds whose father's line goes back. It is the gate of that difficulty that you must go through. All right, so you can have respect unto what Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has given us. So you can understand the severity, all right, of this, of going off from the blessing. We are not a nation that is ever meant to lead themselves. All right, we are the nation that is to follow Yahweh Bashem Yahushai exactly as he is commanded and he is demanded to the best of our ability right now. All right, until he makes us perfect. And then we are the example unto the world. Matter of fact, let's get that. All right, this is Matthew chapter 5, and let's start at, we're going to start here at 14, and it reads, Ye are the light of the world. All right, this is this is Yahweh Shai speaking, and it's in the red letter. All right, let me read that again. Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. All right, so Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has made us the light of the world. All right, and we are the light of the world when we follow the laws, statutes, and commandments. All right, to the best of our ability on this side. As you see, hey, Jake is the one who sets all the trends. So-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, as well as the speckled bird whose father's line goes back. All right, it is the nation of Israel who creates culture, art, all right, music, dance, okay, food, everything, all right, is of Israel, all right, under the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Let me start up at the top, matter of fact. This is going to be the book of Matthew, chapter 5, and verse 13, and it reads, Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt have lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted? Right. So here it is. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has made us the salt of the earth. All right. We have all the flavor. All right. But right now, all right, due to wickedness, due to going off, all right, living after the way of these other nations, all right, we have sort of lost our savor. All right. And especially in times past. Now, hey, you got bug outs, you got degenerates, all right? Hey, Israel eating abominable things, doing abominable things, all right? This savor is not good anymore. So Yahweh set Yahweh Shai up to what? To bring us back unto him, all right? That we are found to be a savor again, all right? That we are found to be delightful and tasting. All right, a savor is something that is pleasurable. All right, but as we are to be pleasurable and pleasing to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, something that you want to keep on tasting. All right, that savor, that sweet, okay, that is good. All right, but right now we are not good as a nation. So Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is bringing us back to the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding so we may be that for him again. Continuing on, it is thenceforth good for nothing. Right, it is good for nothing if it has no savor, but to be cast out. And that's exactly what Yahweh Bashem Yahushai did. He cast us out. All right, for what? For being worthless is the easiest way to say it. For being worthless, for being good for nothing, and to be trodden underfoot of men. All right, and that's exactly what happened to us. All right, all these nations, all these other nations, got up over us. All these other nations treat us like crap. Okay, the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, and Seminole Indian, as well as the speckled bird whose father's line goes back, all right, are treated like crap. And I'm going to call them by their biblical names: Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Zebulun, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Naphtali, Asher, and Issachar. All right? You were treated like the lowest of the low. All right? Starting with the head tribe of Judah, the so-called black man. All right? Gets it the worst. But nevertheless, hey, we all suffer the same thing. Okay? Because we are Yahweh Hashem Yahushai's nation. All right? But through grace and mercy, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai has kept us. All right? But that's another lesson for another time. Continuing on, verse 14, and it reads, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 14, and it reads, "You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill, Salakia, cannot be hid." Right? So once again, we cannot be hid. Yahweh Shem Yahushai hid himself for a time. All right? He took our understanding, our wisdom, and our knowledge away so that we may not know ourselves. These other nations hid the truth from us. But yet, Yahweh Shem Yahushai was already there and always there. All right? He just blinded our eyes. Okay? These other nations knew who we are. All right? They knew who we were in times past, but did not give us the information because they hid it. All right? They hid it through a multitude of ways. Iconoclasm, beat it out of us. All right? Beat the memory out of us. Stockholm syndrome, all right, making us believe and think like them, all right. That's why Yahweh Shem Yahushai says, "Learn not the way of the heathen," all right. But we were indoctrinated, and ingrained in their culture, in their philosophy, in their belief, all right. But here it is: you hate the prophets, the men of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, because we tell you the truth. This place is not for us. All right, this is not the way, okay, to follow after Babylon, aka Sodom and Gomorrah, aka Egypt, aka Rome 2.0, here on the shores of America and abroad. We are not to follow after the way of these nations. We are to follow after the way of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. All right, book of Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 15, and it reads, "Neither doeth men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but no, Salakia, but on a candlestick." All right. Yahweh Hashem Yahushai said, "Hey, you don't hide a candle and put it on under a bush." All right. What would you do? It continues to say, it says you put it on a candlestick, but it continues to say, "And it gives light unto all that are in the house." Right. And all that are in the house, all right, the house that Yahweh Shem Yahushai has set, all right, as Yahweh Shai, is that light in that candlestick for us, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, all right, as well as the speckled bird whose father's line goes back. As a nation, all right, as a nation, Yahweh Shai is the candle, is the light unto us, all right. But in this day, in this time right now, Yahweh set Yahweh Shai up. Yahweh Shai set the prophets up, all right. The prophets are bringing the light unto you to call you back unto the light of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, so that you may have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. And we understand it's through the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai it's done. Okay? Continue it on, verse 16, and it reads, "Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." All right. So Yahweh Hashem Yahushai gave us this word, all right, that we may perform the work. All right, the work to bring you back to labor for Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, to wake up the nation. All right, wake up the nation of Israel, the elect of the nation of Israel is better said. All right, so that you can come back unto the light of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. so we can perform and do the things to the best of our ability to become that sweet savor unto Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay? Verse 17, and it reads, think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. All right? He has come to fulfill. Yahushai has come to fulfill. All right? When Yahushai was spoken of in the Old Testament into the New Testament, all right, it was prophesied. All right? Prophecy to tell before. They told before his coming. All right? And they told after, they told in the Old Testament before his coming, and then after his coming in the New Testament. When he has came in the New Testament, he has now given this word, all right, unto the prophets. All right? He has given the word of Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, all right, himself. For what? For the reconciliation and for the marriage, all right, for the joining of the nation of Israel back unto the nation of Israel. You see, this is what Yahweh Bashem Yahushai purposed it for. Okay? Let's go back here. We're going to start again. This is going to be the book of Hebrews, chapter 12 and verse 6. And it reads, for whom Yahweh Bashem Yahushai loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. All right, so you have to go through that difficulty. You have to be chastised. Verse 7, and it reads, if ye endure chastening of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, dealeth with you as with sons. All right, he deals with you as sons. All right, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai will put you in a case, all right, that you will have to get out of by believing and doing what it is that he has told us to do. He wants to see and try you to see if you love him, if you obey him, if you will reverence him in all things. Okay? This is what Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has caused for us. This is what he has chosen for us to be, his nation, his people. All right? That we may receive him. Okay, continuing on. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? All right? If he chasten you not, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has no care for you. And it continues to say in the 8th verse, but if ye be without chastening, whereof all are partakers, then are ye bastards and not sons. All right? So when you're in a difficult case, when you wake up to the truth of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, you are taken from being a bastard. If you abide in the word and the power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, you are taken from being a bastard unto a son. All right? If you give your due diligence and give everything to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and remain in the truth in the ministry of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai with 100% truth and doctrine coming out of GMS and brothers who are teaching the same exact thing, all right? You are no longer bastards, all right? You are sons, you are daughters of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Why? Because you are following after the way that you were directed, okay? Understand, that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is it, all right? He's it. He's all right? There is nothing greater than Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, all right? It is in your best interest, all right, to follow after the way of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Yet, if you are not chosen or you choose not to do that, if you believe that you have free will, all right, and you choose not to do that, then it be to your detriment, okay? For you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, as well as you speckled birds whose father's line goes back. All right, this is going to be here in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 3, chapter 3 and verse 15, and it reads, I will give you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. All right, so understand that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has his prophets, has his men out on the highways and byways. All right, that you may receive the word. All right, that you may receive him. Okay, it is Yahweh Bashem Yahushai who has called this out. It is Yahweh Bashem Yahushai who has ordained this so that you could receive him. He gave you men of after his own heart. He gave you pastors with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that you may receive his word. Okay? That you may receive his word. This is going to be here in the book of Matthew, chapter 11 and verse 28. And it reads, and this is in the red letter, so it's Yahushua speaking, and it reads, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." All right. So Yahweh Bashem Yahushai said, all you that labor. All right. You wayward doctrine. All right. Pulpit pimps. All right. And I'm speaking in an aspect of you being blind to the fact and the truth of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right. And matter of fact, let me get another script. It's book of Romans chapter book of Romans chapter 11, Slakia chapter 10 and verse 2, and it reads, For I bear them record that they have a zeal of the power, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Slakia, the power of God, but not according to knowledge. All right. Hey, you have a zeal trying to understand the scriptures. All right. You pulpit pimps. All right. Unless you're just a complete demon, a 5013C. All right. Either you're doing it for money or you're doing it for lack of knowledge, but you have a zeal. Either Yahweh Bashem Yahushai will deal with you and you will come to the understanding, the wisdom and the knowledge and the truth of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and you would declare it. All right. If you be of his fold, if you be of the elect, you will come to the light. It is guaranteed. All right. This is a for sure bet that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai will bring you out of utter darkness if you belong to him. All right. If you are chosen, if you are of the elect of the nation of Israel. All right. Once again, you pulpit pimps, you false prophets, you wayward doctrine people. All right. Of the nation of Israel. Doesn't matter about anybody else. This is the book of Romans, chapter 10, verse 2. For I bear them record that they have a zeal of God, but not according to knowledge. All right? Not according to knowledge. Because Yahweh Bashem Yahushai said what? All right? He has told you that you do not have it. You do not have it. Why? Because in the book of Matthew, chapter 22, verse 29, it says, Yahushua answered and said unto them, Ye do err, not knowing the scriptures, not nor the power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right? So you err not having the understanding, the wisdom, and the knowledge. All right? Not being taught the correct way. All right? You hate me because I tell you the truth. This is what Yahushua said. All right? He told you, hey, in John 8 and 45, you hate the truth that is being given. All right? You hate the pastors that Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, has risen up. All right? To give to you the wisdom and the knowledge and the understanding. To give you the good news, the gospel. That it be brought unto you that you may receive it. Okay? Instead, you want to deny Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Why? Because it doesn't fit into your program. And ultimately because you were not predestinated, all right, to receive his mercy, his grace, his love. All right, going back here to the book of Matthew, chapter 11, starting at verse 28, and it reads, this is Yahushai in the red letter, and it speaks and reads, Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. All right? In the truth, in the word of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, will you find rest. All right? That is where you will rest. All right. If you give everything to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. All right. You can rest in Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You can't rest in Jesus Christ. All right. Hey, that is a wayward doctrine, a idol. All right, that has been put before you by the heathens. All right, by the heathen nations. All right, chiefly Esau, Edom. Okay, for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, as well as you speckled birds, to bow down unto. All right, he is there to put. He is there put as a stumbling block unto you. All these other, uh, uh, all these other nations have had a hand in deceiving you. All right, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians. All right, and just for edification, you so-called Negroes, right, the tribe of Judah. You so-called West Indians, Benjamin. So-called Haitians, Levi. So-called Dominicans, Simeon. So-called Guatemalan to Panamanians, Zebulon. So-called Puerto Ricans, Ephraim. So-called Manasseh, or Salakia. So-called Cubans, Manasseh. So-called North American Indians, Gad. So-called Seminole Indians, Reuben. The so-called Argentinians to Chile, Naphtali. So-called Colombians to Uruguay, Asher, and so-called Mexicans, Issachar. All right? Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has you, all right, to be his people, to be his servants. Now it is for you, to answer the call of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, if you have the ears to hear and you have the eyes to see. Okay? This is going to be here in the book of John, chapter 14, and verse 6, and it reads, and this is Yahushua speaking, Yahushua saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. All right? So no man can come unto the Father but by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right? And no man cometh to the Father, all right, but Yahushai. All right? Because Yahweh put his only begotten son to be that mediator. Yahushai set his prophets up to give you the word to lead you to the light. All right? See, we are only small lights to take you to the source of the light that we received. All right? It's like it's like seeing that scene in Finding Nemo, okay? Where that little light is in the darkness of the ocean, okay? That darkness of the ocean, that one little light, all right? Imagine that the prophets are a bunch of little lights scattered abroad to make it back to the source, all right? That source being the entirety of that particular fish in Finding Nemo, all right? That is Yahushai to us. He is everything and he is all light. All right? That one light came to lead you into the broader scale of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay? This is what it is. Whether you care to receive it or deny it, it's not going to change what Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has set forth. All right? And his word. We're going to go back here to the book of John. St. John, and we're going to go from chapter 1. And chapter 1, let's go ahead and start. We'll cut it a little bit. Let's go ahead and start here at verse 9. So this is the book of John, chapter 1. Let's start at verse 7. This is the book of St. John, chapter 1, and verse 7, and it reads, The same came for a witness to bear witness of the light, that all men through him might believe. All right. Once again, that light is Yahweh Shai. All right. But that smaller light, in this case, was John the Baptist. All right. John the Baptist was the was the progenitor, to herald in Yahweh Shai. All right. That one light, all right, that one light gave truth. So the word, may be magnified and glorified. Okay, continuing on, verse 8, and it reads, he was not that light. He was not that light. All right. John was not that light. Salakia, let me start at verse 5. Let me just go back. This is the book of St. John, chapter 1, and verse 5, and it reads, and the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. There was a man sent from the power whose name was John. All right, there was a man sent from Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, Yahweh had ordained him in the womb, to be the progenitor before Yahweh Shai's coming, to herald in, to bring him forth, to call him out. All right, to magnify his name. All right, that people may understand this is the light of Israel. Continuing on, verse 7, the same came for a witness, to bear witness of the light. All right, to bear witness of the light. All right, the shining, the bright light, that big fish in Finding Nemo, from that one little light, in comparison to this analogy that I'm using, this parable. All right, the likeness is that one little light could be considered John the Baptist. All right, a prophet, as we are all prophets through the will and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, teaching and preaching 100% truth. We are all little lights to bring you back unto that bigger light, that greater light, all right, which is Yahweh Shai. Because we can't make it to Yahweh unless we praise Yahweh Shai. All right, he is the Lord set up over us. Continuing on. Verse 7. All right, the same came for a witness, to bear witness of the light, that all men through him might believe. He was not that light, but was sent to bear witness of that light. All right. So we're not the light, but we bear witness of that light. All right. Let me say that again. We are not the light, but we bear witness of that light. Okay. Yahweh Shai is considered that light. All right. We have a portion to give you, to follow in. If you want to look at it another way, we're a glow stick in the dark. All right. Getting you to the greater light. I don't know how I can make this plainer. All right. That you may receive the word. All right. But Lord willing, it's edifying, uplifting to you. All right. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay. Continuing on. This is verse 9, and it reads, that was the true light. That was the true light. Yahweh Shai is the true light. He has given us the word. This word is of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, which lighteth every man that cometh unto the world. He was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. He came unto his own, and his own received him not. Why? All right, the world received him not. The nation of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, as well as you speckled birds whose father's line goes back. 2/3 of the nation of Israel here on the shores of Babylon the Great received not Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, because they care not. They have loved the way after the heathen. All right, they have loved this wayward doctrine that the world offers, the trinkets, the gifts, and the bullshit that the world gives. All right, this is what Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai was talking about. All right, you care not for the light, you rather be in utter darkness. Verse 11, and it reads, he came unto his own, and his own received him not. But as many as as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of Yahweh, Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, even to them that believe on his name. All right, so if you truly believe in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, if you truly believe in the ministry and the doctrine of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, you are therefore in a better case that you may receive and have the glory of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai in your eyes. Continuing on, verse 13, and it reads, which were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And the word was made flesh. All right, that word, the word of Yahweh was made flesh in Yahushai, and dwelt amongst us, and we behold his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. All right, Yahweh, all right, has provided us Yahweh Shai, that gives us what? Gives us that grace, mercy, and truth. All right, and it is Yahweh who has ordained this and who has given this for us. All right. Going back here to the book of John, chapter 8 and verse 45, and because I tell you the truth, ye believe me not. All right. Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, has ordained it. All right. He has ordained the truth. If you have the ears to hear and the eyes to see, Salaki. All right, Salakia. But it is for you to understand that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has an order. All right, has a chosen of the nation of Israel, but he has chosen Israel as the nation, all right, to serve him. Okay? Don't let the word of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, all right, be taught falsely in your eyes. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai said, learn of me. All right? Understand what it is to receive the word, the doctrine, the untainted truth. 100% coming out of GMS, starting with our head apostle Tahar, Apostle Gabar, Apostle Ramla, Apostle Rakal, the elders and the bishops, all the way down to the newest brother and the brothers who teach the same doctrine. All right? I am Aya Shetad of Men of Valor, Las Vegas Camp. I want to give all honor and glory and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rechak Wadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, to all the Akim out there teaching and preaching 100% truth. All right, to the next time, once again, I'm Aya Shetad. Shalom, Kwam Yasharala, Wa Abal Babal. Shalom.